am happy,
Exactly.
you are happy. Let us be happy together, whether the weather is cloudy or sunny. I will always be your funny honey bunny. I am lucky, you are lucky. Let us get lucky together,
Johnny's
whether
not
the weather is
dancing.
cloudy or breezy. I'll be there to say, hey, come on, let's
I'm
take it
getting
easy.
questions.
'Cause isn't it nice to have the friends that you do? And isn't it nice that the sky is so blue? And isn't it nice to say I love you, chugga chugga choo choo, woo woo. I am smiling, you are smiling. Let us smile together, whether the weather is cloudy or stormy. I will still be there in the morning. I'll be right by your side in the morning. I'll make you breakfast in the morning. I hope that you like cereal.
Yay!
That you like cereal.
Underappreciated
Yay.
vibrato on that song. By the way, her vocal vibrato is spot on and perfectly timed. I'm just saying. So Johnny's got some more questions for you. I want to make sure we get through as many of them as we can.
So here's a fun one from Treva Joan. How did Phil and Hal meet?
Yep.
Was it the Saturday radio show phone calls? If yes, I think I heard one of the first calls.
Yes. That's it. Yeah, that's exactly how it worked. Somebody reached out and said, and like,
Wait.
Yeah. Did you hear that? Did you lose us?
You broke up there. No, you broke up, Johnny. Give me that
Okay.
one more time.
Oh, Treva Joan was asking about how you and Hal met. Was it one of the first Saturday phone calls?
Yeah. Can you hear us?
I don't think you can hear me.
You take it, Hal.
Okay, yeah. Well,
Pretty much.
Initially, somebody shared, I think Philip actually himself tweeted me, and somebody was, there was the Sparklers were actually interacting sort of with like, this guy, he's in Ukraine, and he wants to get his message out. And
No, I was in LA, Hal.
Oh, that's right. You weren't there yet. Right.
No. It was. I was in LA. I wasn't even in Ukraine yet. I was in LA, and the buildup was happening, and I was hoping. I was hoping desperately that it wasn't going to happen, and I was trying to set up what I'll do after the war, which is I'm going to set up my own production company, and so I was looking to see how that would work out in LA.
Oh, right.
And this was happening, and I.
That's right. It predates
I started
the
listening to you.
It
was
entirely.
Like for a guy that, before the invasion, before February, it was November of 2021, and I was sitting there going, for a guy who doesn't study Russia exclusively, he's got it pretty right. So I called in and we had a discussion, and then we just kept talking. And then when the invasion happened, I was like, well, heck, I guess I have to go, because I made promises that I had to keep. So I hopped on a plane and came over here, and that's how this whole thing kind of happened. But back in the day, it was just a guy calling up on talking to you on the other end of the phone.
As you do. As you do.
As you do.
And then we met in person for the first time just recently. LA first.
That's right.
Chicago.
In Chicago.
Yeah. So, or vice versa. Sorry, Chicago first, then LA. Now, let's grab another question real quick, because I know the time will run away from us.
So, ST Sullivan wants to know what days Philip is on Thom Hartmann.
Looks like I'll be doing Thursdays.
Excellent.
That looks like the plan, around noon or 1 Eastern time. Thursdays for a segment at the top of the hour, I believe. But again, and I you guys have, I can't say, isn't it nice to have the friends that you do? Because you guys, the audience here has been fantastic, and you keep supporting me, and it's great. And I want to keep getting my word out. So thank you for the support. I'll try and make you all proud.
Right, we need a show for you every day of the week. That's the goal next. I think we got Thursdays
that
covered.
Would be great.
Wednesdays are all right. You've got Saturdays with me, so you got two of them nailed down. Yep. And then going forward, we'll stack as we go.
I'm all for it. I'm here for it. Absolutely.
And by the way, this Tuesday, I will be at the Whiskey hosting Ultimate Jam Night. It's Guitar Heroes Night. I'm doing multiple songs, and it's going to be a party. And I will now be the host going forward for those shows. So I will be at the Whiskey quite regularly on the Tuesdays, as it were, which means I will be completely wiped out Wednesday morning after having, sung myself into a hole. So that'll be fun. And at some point, I'm going to force Johnny
I'll do all the yapping.
I'm gonna fly Johnny out here to play alongside me on something. We'll figure it out, but it's gonna happen.
It's gonna be horrible.
It's that's the spirit.
Yeah.
No rehearsals.
Attaboy.
That's the spirit.
So,
yeah, go ahead.
Vanessa Beauty from Facebook wants to know, how are the hospitals and the status of the healthcare there?
The hospitals are having a really hard time. They get affected by the power outages as much as anybody else. They've got, and you can't always run a generator, and
right.
So they are operating in really difficult circumstances. Now, some obviously are, some parts of the country are better than others. I mean, I've had friends and colleagues who have gone out to hospitals out in the East, and it's just almost to the point of operating under candlelight, which is just astounding that in the 21st century that's still happening. But the Russians are doing this intentionally. The more suffering that they can inflict on the Ukrainian people, and that includes places like hospitals, that includes, the heating here, and when it gets really, really cold, we're going to have people struggling with hypothermia, I have no doubt. But what the Russians don't understand is that it's the complete opposite reaction from the Ukrainian people. It makes them very angry. I was going to use more colorful language, but I'll just stick with that. It is the opposite result. They are very much like, keep pushing, Russia. We'll keep standing up. And they're really angry at the Russians right now. I mean, so much so that they're tearing down anything that has to do with Russia. They are tearing down. I don't know if you saw this, Hal, but the statue to Catherine the Great was torn down in Odessa.
Yes.
Catherine founded Odessa. So historically, she has every right to be on a pedestal in Odessa. She founded the city. But they are so angry at Russians that anything that has anything to do with Russia, they are tearing it down. So
again,
it's the
Catherine
opposite
the Great,
of what I think Putin wanted to do.
Catherine the Great may have discovered the place and established it, but she didn't put the statue there. The Russians did. And so they're taking down a Russian statue of her. They can put up their own one day if they decide, but that is a leftover Soviet statue, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So that's why it's coming down.
I'm
it's
sure
one of
it
those things
is.
like, we can do our own, Lady Liberty, thank you very much. But your stamp with your writing and your description of events, it's got to go. That makes sense.
There's a big thing about Pushkin. There's a big thing about Pushkin here, and rejecting Pushkin, because the Russians, Pushkin is their poet laureate, whereas Shevchenko is the Ukrainian poet laureate, and Pushkin is all over this country. Every city's got a Pushkin street, Pushkin statues all over the place, and the Ukrainians are definitely, and without compunction, they're like, no, Pushkin's got nothing to do with us. We're taking that off the books. So
wow,
they're not. They have so damaged the relationship between these two countries that it's going to be generations before they can even start to talk to one another again. It's just terrible. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
there's
we got a little bit more time, right?
Yeah, we do. We got a couple minutes. Let's grab another one.
There is.
So this is a good one from, I love this username, Incel Derpel Drump. How are the
super
streets
chatted
of
before,
your city? Are they fairly neat and clean, or do they look like a war zone?
The streets are actually very neat and clean. I was just in Kharkiv, and Kharkiv really got it in the neck. They got it hit really, really hard. And I've got some footage that I'm still kind of toying with. I hate editing. It's the worst for me. But Kharkiv got hit really, really hard. And one of the things that you notice, there are billboards all over around the city of Kharkiv. They're not celebrating first responders. They're not celebrating soldiers, although that's there too. But there are a lot of posters around town of like, we cleaned up our city, and aren't we proud of how we cleaned up our city?
Right.
And they're really, really, they're making a really strong effort to make sure that things are returned to a semblance of normality as quickly as possible. And so the streets remain cleared. obviously, in the frontline areas where there's still fighting going on, they don't have the time to do reconstruction there. And those streets, like right now, there's all sorts of towns that are being fought over, Kherson or Bakhmut, that they are a war zone. They don't look like a war zone. They are a war zone.
Yeah, currently.
And I don't have any intention. I don't have any. I've spoken to you about this, Hal, in the past. This is my last war. I have said it repeatedly, and I will say it again. I hope to never, ever see another war in my life. So I am not going to die in my last war, and I have no intention of going right up to the spear tip and let the network guys do that. Let the agency guys do that. I'll stay here, kind of and spend time with the Ukrainian people.
Well, and also
that's
the guys
my intention to relay that kind of.
Right. And, those guys have bug out vehicles provided by the networks and the governments of the country to make sure that they're safe.
That's right. They have armored vehicles.
As safe as you can possibly be.
They have former military guys who are as their security.
As they should.
Detail. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And bless them for doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Let's do one more.
Absolutely.
Let's do
but that's not what I'm going to do.
Yeah, we got 2 minutes left. What do you got, Johnny?
Here's a good one. Cosmic Rose wants to know if Philip can sing
Cosmic.
a Christmas song in Ukraine/Russian.
You know the song that goes.
You realize
I can, but I'm a terrible singer. But you know the song that goes, ding dong, ding dong. It's I don't know, but that's a Ukrainian song. It's the Carol of the Bells. That's right.
Yeah,
that is a Ukrainian song, and it's 100 years old, I believe. There's a whole big thing about it going on right now. Take a look at, I think it was Chicago did a whole thing where there was it New York?
Bunch of kids.
It's a beautiful song.
A bunch of kids came Ukrainian kids came to New York, and they sang that song in Grand
Central.
Station.
I saw them in Grand Central.
Yes, it's beautiful. Look for it on
Chicago,
Twitter,
they illuminated it. It's a beautiful song. Try and listen to it in the original Ukrainian. It will warm your heart. Okay, look, before we go, there is still Christmas here. There will be Christmas here. All right, Johnny, I'll get it for you next time. There is still Christmas here. There is still joy here. They're selling Christmas trees on the street. This is, you can't keep these people down. There will be a Christmas here, and there will be joy. So do not despair.
Excellent. Nope.
The government is mandating it.
Yeah.
Well, they're Nazis, so you know.
Yeah, that's what you do. The Nazis are all pro-Christmas.
I shouldn't even joke.
Good old Kris Kringle. All right, thank you so much, Philip Ittner. Thank you, Johnny Million. On that note, you had to Kanye it, didn't you, Johnny? You had to Kanye it. See you guys later. Merry Christmas. We'll see you guys next week.